Hi, and welcome to the Home Video Emporium. I'm your host, my name is Brendan, and with this series what I hope to accomplish is to catalog my entire collection of home video titles and determine which of these movies still belongs amongst my elite and esteemed catalog of movies and needs to be preserved for generations to come, and which of these movies unfortunately may need to be purged and to be put out to pasture as there's just a limited amount of space on my shelves and in my apartment. So we're looking to hopefully get rid of 30 to 50 movies by the end of the series. Thus far we haven't made a whole lot of progress in that department, but we're still trying, and we're going to take a look eventually and take a quick inventory of the movies we've reviewed and talked about, and see if they all hold up, and see maybe they're not as good as I remember them, and maybe I don't need to be keeping up space with their presence here. Today's episode is Ingmar Bergman's 1966 Persona. This is the Criterion DVD and Blu-ray. Occasionally they did DVDs and Blu-ray double releases. There you get 2 DVDs and 1 Blu-ray. The first thing that I just want to start out with is I was actually doing a little bit of research. I know I need to do more before this episode, and this actually came out 1 year after Roman Polanski's Repulsion. I kind of always imagined it the other way. I thought Persona would have come out first, and then maybe Persona was a somewhat of an influence on Repulsion, but Repulsion actually came out first. And the two movies, I definitely see a lot of similarities to them, and it's possible that it's probable that Polanski was influenced by Bergman's body of work, but just not this one because it actually did come out after Repulsion. But I do think that is interesting. Anyway, Persona, Bergman's film here. This one, from what I can remember, was just a Netflix DVD rental. I saw it, and for whatever reason, I remember giving it a high rating on IMDb, but not really coming back to it right away. I don't know, for whatever reason. Then this was another one of those Barnes & Noble 50% off sales. I picked it up because I remembered liking it. And, when it starts with that, the prologue, thinking, is this the right movie? I remember the stuff with Liv Ullmann and with B.B. Anderson. And, there's this crazy experimental stuff. We're dealing with silent film. And I just didn't remember it all. But, and then, I watched the movie. It was, obviously incredible. We're going to get into details. But then, you kind of go back. You're like, this was an amazing movie. What was it? What was that intro about? What was all that experimental stuff? And, Bergman here, he is both going back. He's doing a lot of silent, not just recreating sort of silent films, but he's doing a lot of things that they were doing in experimental silent film, showing that a lot of the language, a lot of the vocabulary that made some silent films so special can still be relevant. And, today's, not today's, but in the 60s and in today's movies as well, it's the techniques that, really don't age. Sometimes it's going back to basics, which I think can really be beneficial. Anyway, this movie, why I like it so much, it's a psychological thriller that really you can see a lot of influence on movies like Mulholland Drive, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, in just in different aspects, and probably in a lot more that I'm not even thinking about. Maybe some of Lars von Trier's work, and it deals with a actress, played by Liv Ullmann, Elizabeth Vlugger, apologize for getting that, and Nurse Alma. And for whatever reason, the actress who is taken mute is taken to a beach cottage with her nurse who does all the talking. And it's an interesting relationship that you think they're building this relationship. So you think they're becoming friends just as Nurse Alma does. And then you kind of get the sense that even though because she's not talking, doesn't mean that she's enjoying and that she's becoming friends with the nurse. And even at the end, when Nurse Alma realizes that Vogler is, writing some very hurtful things about her in her notes to the doctor, she still is like, "You're such a good friend. I've learned so much about you." When in reality, they don't know each other at all. At least, Elizabeth Vlugger has not divulged anything. And but you do find out about her. You find out that she obviously has a very bad relationship with her husband, who mistakes Alma for her. And they have this really uncomfortable love scene where Alma is having some, post-trauma from some post relationship trouble that she had. And Volga also has, an estranged relationship with her son, who is looking at her, on the wall. That incredible iconic scene as seeing his mother as a movie star much more than he's seeing her as a mother. One of the features in this that is really fun is you get about 20 minutes or so special feature just on that 7-minute intro, which they break down each of the images where Bergman came up with it. The dead bodies, which was something from when he was younger, where he was in, I can't remember what they say, but he was in a morgue or something with like a young woman and an older couple, and he was thinking they were coming back to life. They break down the significance of the spider. They claim that the erect penis was just a subliminal thing, where I don't know, but I saw it pretty well. I don't think it was, that much of a subliminal thing. But and they also talk about how we recreated silent films or silent film language, not just in the opening of this, but also in several of his other films, some of which I'm embarrassed to admit I have yet to see. You get a really nice, if I can open this, perfect bound book that comes with this. You get essays, you get interviews, you get some really good quality pictures. It does mean that the that the DVD Blu-ray here is a little bit fatter than your standard, so it maybe takes up the space of maybe 2 movies for the price of 1, but maybe that is worth it. I think this movie is extremely influential, extremely powerful, and we're going to talk about our next, spoiler alert, next one is Cries and Whispers. I'm not sure which is his best one, at least of the ones I've seen. I think they're both incredible. That's, they're filmmaking at the highest level with those 2 films. So what does everyone think about Ingmar Bergman's Cries and Whispers? Is it as good and influential as I think it is? Let me know, and let me know what your favorite Bergman films are. And if there's also an interview. There's a profile of Bergman and Liv Ullmann about their relationship over the decades. I'm sorry for not mentioning that. That is in color. Ullmann speaks majority in English, so it's you don't need to have subtitles on for watching that. So let me know about Persona and how you think the series has been going. If you have any suggestions, I'm still planning on doing some little mini marathons here and there just to break up the formula when we need it. So until next time, be kind and rewind to each other. And it's not a true home without home video. Thank you. Good night.